Guys, welcome to the first tutorial on how to paint the Atomic Miniatures 2077's Lego adapted Fallout pieces. All of them are 3D printed, so they are going to be made out of resin. So I'll be teaching you the proper cares with it. Okay, so these have been dried up after being printed. And Connor made sure that he dried them up before he sent them across the channel back up here to Portugal. And I've already painted the undercoat, which I used a gray spray paint, a simple gray spray paint, so that it gives you the first undercoat. Okay, so I'll start it off with the easiest piece, which is the lockers. The lockers are the easiest piece to paint because it has a more simple color scheme, so you don't need to put too much work into it. It'll be fast. Okay, so here's what you need to have it more according to the actual color scheme. I used this bluish, dark bluish metallic paint by DecoArt. Here it is, DecoArt, which is the Dazzling Metallics Elegant Finish, and the color is pewter. It's gonna be the main color. Nuln oil, the classical Nuln oil to shade the miniature. You can't go wrong with the Nuln oil. Then we're going to be using Necron compound for the dry brush after the washes has been done. It's going to be a simple hedge dot highlight. And then to finish off, which something that is both necessary for resin models and also for any plastic models, if you want to keep them intact and the paint intact after a while and protect it from dust, you'll need matte varnish. Usually you can use any of the acrylic paste varnish. So let's get started with the first color, the pewter. It's gonna be the main color. Shake it very well. Okay, so the whole DecoArt pewter color is a failure because the pigment on it is, well, to put it mildly, really bad. So we're gonna use some Cantor Blue as the base color. And we'll mix it with some Vallejo Metallic Black. Just to give it a hint of color. Okay, now this is okay, as you can see, it has a relatively solid color now. A hue of blue with some hints of metallic, although they may be a little bit more difficult to see, but once we dry brush it, it'll be more obvious. So next step is the Nuln oil. We're going to be using this for shades. Make sure that the recesses get much needed wash. You can be a little bit more generous with the wash because if you give it an extra darker look, it'll look even better. Because after all, these lockers should have survived a nuclear war, so make them look like it. As soon as the wash is finished drying, the model will have a more darker color than as it's supposed to have. Let's go check out. Okay, as you can see, it has a very nice color. In terms of color, it looks very similar to the ones you see in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. Now, we're going for the last part. Come on, kiddies, it's the last run. It's the last mile. Okay, so you grab a brush, leave it dry. It can be an older brush, old and relatively hard brush. And we're gonna do the dry brush with Necron compound. So for those of you who don't know what a dry brush is for a hedge highlighting. Okay, so you grab some from the pot. Okay, you grab a bit of paint on your brush, and then you do this. Smack it. You smack it until barely any paint comes out. Do this in absorbent paper. It can be paper towels or toilet paper. Anything will work. Okay. The brush is now dry enough. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna not flick it. You'll make it run against the edges. My brush still has a little bit too much paint on, but it's okay. It's okay. And voila, you have a locker. Well done. Oh, wowee. You have a locker from Fallout 3 and New Vegas. Good job.